I'm Catalina Grija. I'm a functional medicine physician and an evocative life coach. And I just had this amazing conversation with Kim Sorrelle. She's the queen of podcasts. She makes it flow and time passes with while you're getting a load of information of knowledge that will, if applied, help change your life. Can't wait for everyone to view this episode, to watch it, and take it to heart because it can change your life if you allow it. God bless.
Welcome to the show. I am so happy you are here. You are going to be so happy you're here. I'm Kim Sorrelle. I'm an author. I have this show. I speak. I get to do a lot of fun things in life. But my favorite thing to do by far is to meet people. And I get to meet some of the world's most extraordinary human beings. And today is my good friend, Catalina, who is been on my heart since I met her. I'm not sure how long ago we met. We'll get into that a little bit, but from the minute I saw her, there was just something magnetic about her and something that drew me to her. She is a doctor, but she practices a little bit differently these days. And we're going to get into that. You're going to learn a lot and learn a lot about Catalina. So, welcome to the show. And Catalina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm so happy to be here. It's true. Since we met, probably 3 years ago, it's been a connection, like a thread. And we're like, okay, when are we going to meet in the middle and make it happen?
Right?
And it's true. You are all about impact. I'm all about impact. And changing people's lives to the better is all I want to do. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I love it. We're kindred spirits. And so, yeah. So, of course, we're drawn to each other. So, Catalina, before we get into a lot of stuff you're doing today, I would love the audience, I'd love everybody to really get to know you. So, I'd like to hear about 8-year-old Catalina.
8-year-old Catalina was in Bucharest in Romania, in the communist Romania, um, going to school and knowing that at some point everything was going towards being a doctor, because my grandfather was a doctor, my mother was a dentist, and I definitely didn't like dentistry, but I loved to help people. And you in Romania, in the communist Romania, you were just there. You couldn't go anywhere. So I was dreaming about going, traveling, and I didn't see a way at that time. But as I grew up, I found a way because there is always a way, and kept dreaming. And it's funny how when you keep dreaming, I don't know, the doors keep opening, and when you keep your mind open, it's more a world of possibilities. And that little girl that was, thinking, oh, this is my only world, and I cannot ever escape this country. I mean, to go travel, not to just, go live somewhere else. And I was not thinking about that at that time, but I was always attracted, and I kept dreaming.
Wow. Wow. That's so interesting to me that even at a young age, because I've always kind of wondered, I grew up in the United States and the land of the free, whatever, home of the brave. And so, any dream that I dreamt as a kid, I just assumed would come true. You just think it's going to come true. And I never thought of as a kid having these limitations. Like, well, other people get to do this, but Catalina, you'll not be able to do this because of where you live, because you live in a communist country that doesn't allow some of the things that are on your heart, some of the things that you want to do. And so even at a young age, you knew that you had that understanding that this is where you are. And so these are limitations in your life.
Yeah, because we had a great life. I mean, my mom made sure of that. But again, you felt like in you were limited. You didn't have freedom. You can go 100 kilometers this way, 200 kilometers that way, 500 kilometers that way, and that's it. And you see all these other people coming because we have beautiful country. You're coming to the seaside, which is beautiful by the Black Sea. And there were like, Germans and Polish and English people, Americans. And you hear all the languages and you're like putting yourself in being in their shoes, traveling to their countries and visiting everything and, seeing new things. And at that time, obviously, there was no internet, there was no YouTube. So all you knew was from pictures, right? From atlas and pictures and maybe programs on TV, which were limited too. But anyway, and you, again, some kids were just like, okay, I'm going to school. I am 8 years old. I'm not going to think about 20-year-old me. But I was always like, what's next? What's next? And I think that, kept me going. And that always helped me try, because people may give up because they think it's no use trying, or what's the chance? But I'm like, no, I'm going to take that chance. And I took a chance and another chance and another chance. And again, somehow it all happened. Like you said, I wasn't sure that my dream would come true, but I saw that more and more dreams come true. And then I'm like, as I grew up, I learned to trust and know that my dream will come true. And then I learned how to trust, and that my instinct was always right, but I didn't really know the science behind it. So the universe keeps opening doors.
Wow.
If you try.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to hear that story. So here you are going 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, go through school and then go to university. And what is it like to go to medical school there? And was it a challenge to get in? How did that work for you?
So you start preparing 2 years in advance, because it's a very tough exam to go into any university. We don't have college. From high school, you go straight to university. And some programs are 5 years, some programs are 6 years. Medical school is 6 years. And you have to pass an exam where you compete with 6 or 10 other people on one spot. And you have to know your materials perfectly well to have a chance of succeeding. And we start preparing 2 years in advance. And I did that. We got into university. It was tough, but again, even though, right, like my mom was like, oh, what if you don't get in? I'm like, that's not an option. I will never take an exam twice in my life. And again, that stayed with me. And I'll give it all. And I got into medical school in Bucharest, and our school was it was hard, but we also have fun. We made friends, lots of course, high school friends that came to medical school with us. And we took advantage of those years, which are the most beautiful years of your life, basically. You're carefree, just go to school and, enjoy life. And we studied hard, but we also enjoyed the time. And I, in the third year of medical school, I got married to my high school sweetheart. And then after we graduated, we left. We had a plan.
Yeah. So tell me about the plan. So you got married 3 years into school, medical school. You got married. So here you are married, which has to put you probably in a little bit different situation in school, different housing situation, or what? What did that do for you?
Well, we were blessed because my grandparents left me a apartment, and we could stay there in my grandparents' apartment, and in Bucharest also. And the my mom would cook for us if we were really busy with school and everything. So it's a lot of help, a lot of communication, a lot of support. And no, we didn't have to work during medical school, during university. My husband was engineering, but no, we didn't have to work. They supported us. So we're blessed,
Mhm.
definitely
Yeah.
very blessed. We just focused on getting, good grades, learning a lot, and becoming who we're meant to be professionally. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, engineering and medical school, neither one of those are easy. So together, you're studying, you're getting through it with planning your life and having these dreams. What was your dream then? Like, where did you see yourself 10 years from then, 5 years from then, 20 years from then?
Well, when I got into medical school, my uncle, my mom's brother, was already in US, and he said, you should come practice here. And that started um, my mind to think that one day I'll be in America, in US. And I uh, I went with the flow, like literally. I knew that I knew that I knew that I knew one day I will be in US.
Mm.
Although again, it was well, the revolution was in 89 and I graduated in 90. So we went there, we supported the revolution, or crazy young, kind of thinking that we're invincible kids, and we were blessed, we survived. Um, and we helped, a lot, of course, in the hospital. But after that, we saw that after the revolution, you were thinking, oh, maybe there's hope. Maybe I don't have to go anywhere because there will be freedom here also, and things will change and everything will be great. It wasn't. It was not. So we stayed on track and we said, no, we're going to live. And, but of course, we didn't get the visa for the United States because, again, my uncle was here. So they would not give some, kids fresh out of university visa for United States when they knew that we're not going to come back. I mean, they would assume that we would not come back. So we obtained a visa for Germany. We joined part of our family there, and from Germany we came to US.
Mm. Yeah. And then you were here. So how long were you in Germany?
Almost 2 years.
2 years?
Almost two
Yeah.
years. Yeah, it was not. I mean, we get to Germany and we knew that every year the United States would open a free immigration program, January 1st. And we got to Germany in like November, and we waited impatiently for January 1st. And we go there and the program was closed.
Mm.
So now what? And it took a lot of, again, thinking and planning and, talking to our friends in US, my uncle and other friends in US. And we looked at possibilities, options, and I received a work visa for research in LA, and I took that and came to United States, came to Florida first to my uncle, and then moved. I was pregnant by then, and moved to LA like 6 weeks after my daughter was born and started that research program. And I was in it for almost 2 years. And in the meantime, took my exams for USMLE. It's called to pass these exams that you were required to apply for residency. And then applied for residency while applying for the green card lottery. Our friends in LA advised us, why don't you do that? Because I was on a work visa. And when you apply for residency with a work visa, obviously the chances are not the same because everybody's thinking, oh, I have to sponsor this person. And then for me, what would happen a year later, because that's how long it would have been left out of it, to what would I do afterwards? So it would have been much more complicated. But again, the universe is full of possibilities. Call it universe, call it God, anything everybody believes in. But my husband won the lottery for green card. And this happened right when I was starting to apply for residency programs. And we found out that most of our friends from high school and university are in Chicago. So sure, I applied, a little bit in Florida and in California, but most of my applications went to Illinois, and I got into the program where a couple of my friends were already in Oak Park, and there you go, 3 years flew by, and then I became attending in the same hospital.
Wow. That's so cool. It had to be such a happy day when he won the lottery. Like, talk about winning the lottery. I mean, some people, you win the lottery, you win a lot of money. You won the lottery. Like, I'm sure no money in the world would have made up for this. Like, this is the big win, right?
It's huge. It was, and the story is amazing because we were about to leave to go for a walk, and the phone rang. And we're like, oh, should we answer or should we just go? And my husband said, well, let me answer. And it was the lawyer that we applied with saying, hey, you won the lottery. And he's like, what lottery? He was confused, really. Like, I mean, I cannot describe to you the feeling and our celebration when we heard that. It was amazing. It was the biggest, besides us meeting and being together since 18 basically, and having our daughter and being able to come to US. This was the next biggest blessing in our life. And it was a lottery, and I always joke about lottery, right? You have to be a millionaire in order to have millions, right? You can have millions but lose them overnight if you are not inside a millionaire. But with the green card lottery, we loved US. I love to speak English. I mean, I think English is the most beautiful language in the world. So for me to be able to stay here and practice here and live my life here was the biggest blessing. So, okay, thank you. I'm all set.
Wow. So exciting. So here you are, and then you're in your residency program, and then your husband's working as an engineer. Meanwhile, got a job as an engineer and setting up your life in Chicago and whatever, and things are great, which kudos to you. You did it. You worked hard at it and you got it. And I want to just spend a minute on that because I think when you're born in the US, it's so easy to take it for granted and just go, oh gosh, we're here. And then not just take it for granted, but complain. Oh, the government's doing this, and oh gosh, this is happening, and oh my, doom and gloom and whatever and whatever. And I gotta say, personally, I don't watch the news. And it might seem naive, but there's nothing good that I ever hear that isn't completely polarized. Like, there are people that love this and there are people that hate it, and there are people that love this and people that hate it and hate this and love this, and it's so divided, and it causes such division in people, and we should never be divided. We should just love each other. Like, we shouldn't be divided. It shouldn't happen like that, but it divides family, it divides people. So I don't play that game. I just don't watch. But I think it's so easy to take it for granted and then complain about it. And when you're born in a communist country, born in Romania, and dreaming about even being able to travel outside your borders, first of all, and then the big dream of the United States was the big win, right? Like, you didn't just go, any country that'll take me. Your dream was the US, and for lots and lots of really great reasons. And so, anyone taking it for granted, don't. We live in a great country where we have a lot of freedom, and we've got the freedom to grumble. And a lot of places you don't even have that freedom. So it's special to hear someone who this was your dream. You just really wanted to be part of the US and you wanted to be here. I love that. It's so good.
Yes, absolutely. I think uh, uh, the you attract who you are in life, not what you want.
Mm.
And when you say I am or I have a dream, I love that. Martin Luther King, I mean, I think that was the greatest statement that anyone could have. When you focus on that and you keep being the best version of yourself that keeps going forward no matter what. It wasn't easy. I mean, obviously, we had all these, bumps, obstacles, but you either focus on the challenge and the obstacles, or you focus on your goal and you focus on solutions and learning. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot. And I hope we passed all that knowledge to our children. And we are very grateful. When you're grateful, you can be bad. You cannot be hateful. You cannot be complaining. You're grateful, and we are very grateful.
Wow. Yeah, I love that too. The gratitude, how important that is. And man, we should all be grateful and think of things that we're grateful for every single day, because we're here when we get to experience life and all the things that life has. And sure, everybody goes through hard times, but there are so many good times, so much more good to dwell on than bad. And being grateful changes everything. It changes you inside. It changes your spirit. It changes your heart, your mind, right? It changes you. So gratitude is huge. So I love that you mentioned that. So you're practicing medicine and you're seeing that maybe this isn't the way you want to practice medicine. How did that come about?
Well, the rebel in me, right? The freedom, seeking freedom, always seeking freedom. I was employed for 1 year, and then I went private. And somehow the circumstances were favorable, because up until then it was not. Practices were being bought, but now it was going the other way around. Practices were being released. Practitioners were encouraged to go on their own. And I, again, with my support, my strong rock, my husband, like, okay, let's do this. Mind you, I don't have I mean, after residency, you have very little income. You have, of course, your salary as a 1 year attending, but it is not enough to start a practice. So, of course, taking loans and doing everything that you're supposed to do. And I said, I will succeed. There is no other way. And I built my practice in internal medicine privately. And then I was always open. I mean, in my medical school thesis was on nutrition. And in residency, I chaired an alternative medicine grant. So my nutrition and my passion for health and for metabolic disease to help fix metabolic disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension, obesity. That opened my eyes towards other things, towards nutrition and towards supplements. So I was already looking for, good, healthy things to suggest to my patients, not just, okay, go to the pharmacy and get some vitamin D or a multivitamin. And I kept learning, and I introduced certain products in my office, and people liked it. Oh, okay. And then they had some good results and improvement in blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes. And at some point, even my husband was able to cut off some of his blood pressure medications. And I realized the power of nature, of natural products. And it's just that you have to know what to do. And that led me to functional medicine. And it so happened that that was exactly around COVID time. And when COVID started, all the, closed down, everything was blocked. I started my course in functional medicine, my training. I had the time to do that. And I transitioned from a full internal medicine practice to combination, functional medicine and internal medicine. And that grew along these last 5 years, almost 6 years now. And with that, I saw also that you can make people understand what's happening in their bodies. They can see it black and white. This is what's happening at the cellular level. These are your genetics, your genetic predispositions, how you metabolize everything, how much inflammation you have in your body, why you are vitamin deficient all the time, why you're not tolerating certain foods, and all of that, and suggest a lifestyle. But without people changing their thinking patterns, getting rid of limiting beliefs, they will not maintain that lifestyle after the program is over, or not for long. Very few people, even people that do bariatric surgery, if we look at numbers, a lot of them gain their weight back. And this is a physical restriction. Why that happens? Because their thinking, their mindset is not where it needs to be, right? We don't get in life what we want. We get what we are. So you have to change who you are in order to have what you want, which is a healthy weight with no chronic medical conditions that are related to the weight. And so I also started training in mindset, in evocative life coaching, which is specific to changing your thinking patterns and rely on your vision, on your dream, and your inner power, not on circumstances, not on situations or conditions. Because if everyone with the same circumstance or condition would have the same outcome in life, you can say, sure, that matters the most, but it doesn't. We know so many people that despite the hardest circumstances, they reached maximum potential in life. And others that had it all, they went down they really went down. So mindset is everything. And once you combine this, sky's the limit.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, it is interesting because if you I wasn't a fat kid, but I was like 5 pounds heavier probably than I should have been, just not a ton, but I sure wasn't the skinny kid in school. And but I wore everything that everybody wore. It's not like I was in bigger sizes or anything, but I definitely was not the skinny kid, which wasn't necessarily an issue for me, but definitely something that was pointed out to me that I wasn't the skinny kid. And so it's easy then to develop this mindset of, well, I'm the fat kid, and so I'm fat. And then you take on that persona that's what you are, because that's what's kind of being told to you, or the feeling that is projected onto you. And so you could accept that and go, yeah, well, that's who I am. That's me. And so weight has been a struggle for me my whole life, until recently. In the last little while, I learned to change my mindset around weight, and everything changed. But it can be so easy, like you're talking about the people that have the surgery and then they gain the weight back. Well, they probably never got rid of that fat kid mentality. This is who they are. So they might look at themselves in the mirror and go, wow, I'm a lot thinner, but still in their mind, they're still the fat kid. And so mind is so important. How you see yourself, how you perceive the world, how you perceive anything, kind of what you perceive is what you're going to receive, right? I like that. So anyway, but it's true that you gotta figure out getting over the stuff in your head before you can really get over the stuff in your body.
Definitely. And that's why, and specifically with the type of transformation, my program is called Dream Builder, because people before surgery, even, right, or even with GLP-1 medications, right, they may have therapy preparing them for the surgery, for the treatment, but that doesn't address, again, the power in you and the thinking pattern change. It just helps them deal with the circumstance, the condition with the foods and everything. It's not enough. Obviously, it fails. So changing this from the core, it changes your life. It totally changes your life. And yes, you have to have this identity shift. I am the fat kid. I'm the person who has everything they want and is what you want. I'm the person that is what I want to be. Total identity shift.
Mm-hmm. Right. Which isn't easy.
No,
And
but
hard
it's
to do on
possible.
your own. It's so much, right? It's so much better if you're working with somebody and they can help you see it. Because I don't know about you, but I can be blind to stuff about myself, right? Where others can point it out and go, well, hey, you think like this, or you're acting this way, or you're like, what? You don't even necessarily see it in yourself. And so having somebody work through the whole mindset thing with you is so valuable, to figure out how to shift your mindset and then how to shift everything else. So one thing I'm so excited about what you do is you look at the whole person, and so mind, body, spirit, and then figure it out from there. And like my friends and I are going to be coming to Chicago, and you're doing this workup on us. I know, I can't wait. And you do a test that tells all kinds of things. So I'd love for you to talk about that.
Yes. So there are a lot of tests in functional medicine that dig deep to the root causes of problems. But there is something that's the blueprint for your life, and it's the nutrigenetic test. And this test looks at the genes encoding the most studied enzymes in the body, the most studied proteins in the body. And you find out exactly how these enzymes work, so that you know what supports the ones that are not working so well and what impedes their function even more. So you can change your lifestyle to favor your genetic blueprint. Because there's a saying, the genes are the bullet, but the environment pulls the trigger. So once you know what you don't know, there's a world of possibilities. For example, what's good, generally viewed as healthy and good, may not be good for you. We take for granted certain things like eating maybe, sandwiches or, having coffee in the morning. But you may find out that those are not so good for you. Those will cause inflammation. Or you may have aches and pains and you have no idea where from. And you discover that you have a high level of these inflammatory proteins in your body that are causing chronic low-grade inflammation. And with the smallest stress or illness or, toxic, chemical that gets into your body, there's a flare of this inflammation and I'm hurting even more. And all your blood tests look normal. I love that because so many people are coming, my blood tests are perfect, but I don't feel perfect. What's wrong with me? And they even get to this idea because maybe it's in my head. No, it's not in your head, but it hasn't been discovered yet. And once once you have this book open in front of you, you can make sense out of everything. I mean, everybody has these moments. That's why I was having headaches, la la la, or this why I was having this problem, or this why I am vitamin D deficient all the time. Or that's why I developed osteopenia at 40 after, breastfeeding 3 kids. Yes. Or this is why I'm keep injuring, when I do certain exercises. You find out everything, how to eat, how to exercise, when to eat, when to exercise, what's good for you, what's bad for you, and what you need to be aware of to avoid. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to have the testing done because it's got to be life-changing just to know those things. Because, somebody that can have dairy, some people are perfectly fine with dairy, and then other people are not. And sometimes you can recognize that you're lactose intolerant, or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily explain why you're lactose intolerant or even what to do about it. But with what you do, you're able to break open the answers to all of it, to the pain or to the discomfort or to the whatever. Or even, when we've been talking, there's certain things that are going to make people gain weight when those same things, somebody else would never gain weight eating those things. And so to know the things that trigger your weight gain or weight loss, that's invaluable. I mean, just all of it, because there are so many things that are weight related, right? Like high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, and even just life, just quality of life can be impeded by your weight, your confidence, just so many things. So if you can go to Dr. Catalina and then have this test done and go, oh, well, if I avoid that and I eat that, I could lose weight. I could be in a different place. And I just think it's gotta be, when people go through it, it's gotta feel like such a miracle to them.
It is. They have these like aha moments, like the revealing moments. And it's not, and unfortunately, obesity, like serious obesity, is also related to multiple cancers. And these days, younger and younger people have cancer. And why not find out if there is anything you can do to prevent that? This is the best preventive test. I mean, functional medicine testing is the best prevention that you can ever do. To, make sure that you did your part. So this is not a test that tests for like, whether you carry certain cancer genes. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I'm telling you how to live your life as healthy as possible and what you can do to again, try to prevent anything bad in your life.
Yeah. Well, and we've had dinner together. And sometimes people might think, oh my gosh, well, if I do this, whether you're at a great weight or not a great weight, weight, we talked about weight, but there's so much more about everything with functional medicine than just weight, and with this test than just weight. But you eat real people food. I think so often people think, oh my gosh, so she's going to tell me I need to eat lettuce and have an apple a day or something. And but that's not the case, right?
No, absolutely. We all need all food groups. Okay. So nobody's going to go on a total keto diet or, everything is precision. So you find out exactly what's good for you. You may eliminate certain items in a category because your body does not tolerate them, but you're not going to eliminate a whole food group, a whole macronutrient. Everybody needs all, protein, fat, and carbs to subsist, to produce any energy at the cellular level. So it's not about that. But, when we were together at one of the dinners, we asked, and it was a very nice restaurant, we asked them, what oil do you cook with? Can we have something with avocado oil or, to cook, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, let me check. They didn't even know. Nobody had ever asked that question. And she came back, right? And she said, I'm sorry, but it's canola oil. I mean, if you discover that you are majorly intolerant to canola oil, what would that do to your eating out life?
Right. And so then you learn what questions to ask, and you learn why you should be asking them to begin with. And so it's so invaluable. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see. I'm hoping that, there's some of my favorite foods that you're not going to tell me I can't, are not so great for me anymore. But I think that's probably true. I would think things that you favor probably are things that are better for you anyway. Maybe, I don't know. But so the whole functional medicine thing. So it used to be sort of like this kind of taboo thing, or people weren't recognizing it for what it was. And so it seemed like this woo-woo kind of thing, right? Instead of, no, this is medicine. And so tell me about your process with functional medicine, like how it's perceived back when and how it's perceived today, and how people should be looking at it.
Before it was, especially because, so when people go to traditional doctors, first of all, they are not trained in nutrition, let alone in functional medicine. It seems that everybody forgets genetics, physiology, microbiology. It doesn't exist. If it's not an algorithm with a medication involved, it doesn't exist. So when you go to a traditional doctor, first of all this is not supported, to put it in the nicest way, not supported. Oh, why do you do that? Or you don't need that. But they forget that in order for your body to work, each cell in your body has to work. Each cell to produce one molecule of energy, you need a lot of minerals and vitamins and amino acids. And if you don't have them from your nutrition, you will feel tired. How many people feel tired? I think I would be a billionaire if I put a penny for each person that tells me they're tired. Mm-hmm. So they don't understand this. And before, it was even more so because there were not enough functional medicine practitioners. And before COVID, actually, people were not invested in themselves. They expected the insurance to pay for everything. And if it's not covered by insurance, nothing's going to happen. But now, even some of the functional medicine tests are covered by insurance, by health savings account or flexible spending account, those credit cards that you can, have through your insurance with your PPO insurance. So there's more opening towards that. Second, people are more concerned about their health actually since COVID. So now it's like, okay, what can I do to prevent this? And they're starting to think, to wonder. Internet is there, YouTube is there, Dr. Google is there. So they ask questions. I don't feel good. Let me ask the question. And this week I had somebody that just looked up online because she was tired of her conditions, and she found me online and she came for a consultation. She has insurance, but she decided to go for functional medicine consultation because she was not getting answers from her primary care physician. And again, it's not the doctor's fault, it's the system, because they don't train in this, and they're trained in medication medicine. But we're not sicker because of lack of medications. We're sicker because of everything that's happening in our environment. And this hamster wheel that we're all on, where you don't have time to rest and relax and cook properly, and you're always on the run. So when somebody comes to me for a problem, it's usually because, again, they haven't found an answer. They don't feel great. Their blood tests were told were good. And it's like, okay, so why am I feeling like this? So we start with a 2 hours evaluation, 19-page questionnaire, and we dig through every piece of information that they can remember so that we find out what started when. And then we put the pieces of the puzzle together. If they're coachable and committed, we do the testing, we start the proper meal plan, lifestyle, and then wait for the test results to do the precision recommendations, customized for each person, because we are unique. Your genetic blueprint is not like my genetic blueprint. What's good for me may not be good for you. So there's not like a cookie cutter program that can solve everybody's problems. People that are trying is just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Maybe it will stick. And for some it does. But for some, with keto diet, you develop kidney stones or fatty liver or have a stroke because your cholesterol went up so high and your blood pressure went up so high that you had a stroke. So again, nothing is good for everybody. I mean, some things are, of course, like hydration and vegetables, for example. But certain vegetables, because again, anyway, so you get the picture. So the idea. So it's very important to identify exactly what your blueprint is. And then with changing the mindset, people stay focused. Plus, they see within a few weeks that they feel totally different. So, yesterday I saw a couple in their 60s who discovered some test results that, we didn't like, changed their lifestyle, changed their eating habits, took some supplements, and back pain is gone, headaches are gone, moving easier, feeling lighter, dropped 9 pounds, cholesterol better. I mean, everything improves with the proper measurements. Everything is possible if you have the right tools.
That's so good. That's so good. Yeah. Well, and doctors, we're sure not slamming on doctors. I mean, they do the best they can with what they have. And
Right.
there's lots of incredible doctors out there that dive deeper and do more and, try to not just hand out medicine willy-nilly, whatever. And going to a good doctor obviously is very important. Going to you would be the best thing to do. But so there are a lot of doctors that do a lot of good, but it is a whole different sort of mindset on how to help people. And with the way our healthcare system is now, it's like, okay, you got 15 minutes with this patient and gone and whatever. And we tend to treat everybody the same. You know, you have these symptoms, this is what you get. Oh, this person with the same symptoms, this is what they also get. And this is what they also get. And so it's blocks of people that are treated the same for the same symptoms, but they might have the same symptoms, but for totally different reasons. That's why with what you do, it's so individualized. It's so just for you, for your genetic makeup, for your body. And you just don't get any better than that.
Right. Traditional medicine is great for acute problems. But when it comes, or many other things, but when it comes to really prevention, yeah, we're lucky. I was there. I practiced for like 27 years. So I know that system. But I could never see a patient in 15 minutes. So that's why I was not, I could not be employed. I could not stay employed. So I need to take my time.
Which is wonderful. You know, everybody wants a doctor that'll take their time for sure and see you as an individual. You know, I think that's so important too, that you feel seen when you go to the doctor. And I don't know that there's a better way to feel seen than to get this blueprint of you and only you. Like, I just think it's incredible what you do and the number of people that you're helping and all that you're doing. I just think is wonderful, and what a fascinating thing. So, what can people do? Are there certain things that people can do that are kind of good for everybody? That if you do these things, like this will help?
Absolutely. First of all, learn to listen to your body. Don't ignore signals. So if something doesn't feel right, try to track it and see, okay, what triggers this? Try to isolate, eat one thing at a time and isolate that trigger and avoid it, because your body is starting to scream at you if you don't. And physical things can become psychological things and influence everything else. Second, make sure you hydrate properly. Most people say, I'm not thirsty. I drink only when I'm thirsty. That is not enough. Most people, when we do the body composition, are dehydrated. So you have to drink your 1 ounce per kilogram, half of your weight in ounces of water, liquids, not just water, a day. You have to eat enough protein. Most people don't have any problems eating enough carbs, but a lot of people have low protein levels. And it's easy now. I mean, you have access on the internet to all these lists, what food has how many grams of proteins and everything. There are apps for this. It's easy to make sure that you have at least a gram of protein per kilogram, generally speaking. Of course, more or less depending on your medical conditions, but depending on your exercise routine, but at least that.
So 1 gram per pound
per kilogram. Per kilogram,
kilogram.
1 gram per kilogram, 0.8 to 1 gram per kilogram. Again, generally speaking, for a healthy person, not somebody
How
who
does
has
that
kidney
translate
issues.
into pounds?
In pounds, so it's about, if you're 200 pounds, let's say, you should have about 90 grams of protein.
Okay. All right. So about the same with water, like half your weight.
Yeah, about the same.
Grams. Okay.
Yeah, about the same. The other thing is to move. I mean, movement is very important. And again, with the genetic test, you might find out that some people are doing better and they are benefiting more from a certain type of exercise, whether it's endurance or power. But for the most part, moving, at least walking, standing, doing some weights, that's paramount. And they're free apps. I keep talking about this app. People think I have stocks in it or something, but I don't. I just found it 5 years ago. And I love it. It's free app. It's called Fit On. They have all the trainers known to mankind, all the types of trainings. from Pilates to Zumba, from meditations to strength training and cardio and HIIT and everything. They even have rehab. And it's very easy. You just, turn it on and you're in the comfort of your home and do something. Just do something. And the last piece of advice I would say is ask your doctors to run vitamin levels and mineral levels, whatever is possible from your insurance and possibilities, but ask them to run blood tests. And because so many people don't know their vitamin D level, so many people don't know their B12 levels or magnesium or zinc or copper. So, and these are so important in the cellular structure, in the function of everything in your body. And it's overlooked. And these days, vitamin D deficiency is rampant. And probably 90% of my patients are in Chicagoland area. So probably less in Florida or in the South anyway. But up here in the North and Midwest, we work a lot, we are indoors a lot. And plus, again, genetically, you may not be able to have decent levels of vitamin D. So just ask for those blood tests and take a look at them and be sure you know what you need to take. Not just go blindly take a vitamin D from the store and start taking it, because you have to know your blood test level. So this would be a few of the tips that are basic
to everybody. So that's so good. So protein, water, or hydration, right? And water, I'm assuming, is the hydration that you're talking about.
Water, tea, not caffeine. So you can do smoothies, you can do water, you can do tea, you can do soups, but not coffee. Coffee is a diuretic, so we don't count that. Yeah. Hydration, protein, basic testing, and exercise.
Wow, which anybody can do and will help anybody. So what are some symptoms of vitamin D deficiency? I'm in Michigan, you're in Chicago, we're a couple hours away from each other, and it is gray all winter long. Like we get so excited when there's a little bit of sun. In fact, I went to San Diego a couple of weeks ago, and I got off the plane and I'm like blinded by the sun because I hadn't seen it in a while. I'm like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. And so we aren't getting the sun, which is a source of vitamin D. So what are some of the symptoms that are that point toward a vitamin D deficiency?
Well, getting sick often. Vitamin D is very important for our immune system. If you are at an age where you get a bone density, your bone density may be lower. You may be more tired. Your calcium levels even may be lower than normal. And some people have even aches and pains more because of vitamin D deficiency. And again, the deficiency is defined differently in traditional medicine and in functional medicine. The ranges of vitamin D in traditional medicine are between 30 and 100. That's a wide range, right? Mm-hmm. But that's how all the ranges are. So try to think that for all the ranges that you see on a blood test, traditional medicine blood test, you should kind of be in the middle. I think that's the most cautious and more conservative way of thinking about it. So if your vitamin D level is 30 or 26, you're really low. You should be somewhere in 50. That would be a much safer place. And you have to ask your doctor, okay, how much vitamin D to take? You cannot just assume. And I cannot give you an advice on that without seeing a blood test and seeing you, because everybody's different, again, based on how you metabolize vitamin D, how you activate it, based on your weight, based on the level of vitamin D. So you have to ask what's the dose that I should take based on the fact that I want my vitamin D to be around 50. Okay. So that's the, a rough recommendation, but it's very safe, very conservative recommendation for vitamin D. But yeah, when you take it, if you remember when COVID hit, everybody was taking like 50,000 units of vitamin D and with zinc and vitamin C. And actually in Israel, I think there was a study that showed that people that were on high doses of vitamin D when they got COVID never ended up in ICU, in the intensive care unit. So it helped, it boosted their immune system.
Wow, interesting. Wow, there's so much to learn from you. And that's just one thing, right? Vitamin D is just one thing out of so many things. And so yeah, like I said, I can't wait till we can work it out with my friends and be there with you. And this has been so fascinating and so good. How can people get in touch with you?
So they can look at me, they can find me on the internet at catalinagrija.com, CATALINAGRIJA.com. And you can, book an appointment there, or they can call 708-358-1299 to book an appointment. And they can also find me for life coaching at Catalina, CATALINA, at scratch that. For life coaching, they can find me at thewholelifeblueprint.org. So
that's good. That's good. And of course, we'll have all that in the show notes. And this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. And do you have one piece of parting advice or one piece of wisdom to share, mindset or otherwise, anything that has helped you over the years, some advice that someone gave you once that you went, yes, this is so good, or advice that you give people?
Don't look at other people's stories and wish for it. Write your own story and never give up.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so good. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt and put it on my wall, I think. That is great advice. Catalina, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate what you do for people. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kim. It's been a pleasure. I truly appreciate you. I think you're doing amazing for everyone in the world, and everybody should be listening to you because you're passionate about this. And other people just do it because they're curious, but you're passionate about impacting people's lives. And that's a gift that should be shared. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so sweet. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We certainly appreciate you being here. If you know somebody that could benefit from this episode, please pass it on to them. Subscribe, do the things that get us out there more so we can help more people. And thank you so much for being here. And I just pray that until we see each other again, that you keep your heart open and you live your love loud.